The A-team in Washington is doing its best to help taxpayers feel better with more of a positive tone, more than we've heard in weeks. The Fed Chairman Bernanke reiterated his statement the economy could be in recovery mode by the end of '09, and President Obama's "We're not quitters" speech was optimistic. Consumer sentiment tells a different story when you look at the numbers, with the February reading showing the lowest number in history. Joe Krier, president of Krier Wealth Management, is here to talk about, well, things, are they as bad as people think? You know, perception becomes reality, and I think that's the game we're playing here.
Yeah, and if you look at those consumer confidence numbers, a reading of 80 or lower says that people are worried. Well, yesterday's number came in at 25, and according to that measure, people actually feel about 30% worse now than they did 3 weeks ago. And I ask you, come on, people, do you really feel that much worse over a 3-week span?
Well, let's look at the news that has people feeling lousy in the headlines. Probably at the top of the list is rising unemployment.
Right, yeah. And of course, that's in the news every day when we see those numbers coming off and the layoffs. But, you know, if you kind of look at this as there's still 90% of Americans are working, and for those 8 to 10% that are out of work, there is assistance out there to help us get through a tough spot. Also, we've got our shrinking retirement accounts, shrinking home values. You know, people just feel this general despair over a lack of control over what's going on out there.
And a lack of understanding about what's really happening.
Yeah, I agree. You know, and a big part of that is we do have a major shift in management of our company with a new administration of our country, excuse me, with a new administration coming in. And there was some expectations that Obama and his team would come in and be able to solve things right away. Well, just not that easy. This is a bigger problem than any new president's had to deal with in over 80 years. So it is going to take a little time to sort it out.
But he did tell us in his inaugural speech it's going to take time. So we have to be kind of realistic and we have to chill out. In fact, chill baby is your mantra for today to help us get over this hump here.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot going on, but what people really need to do is to kind of sit back and look at this realistically. America is still in business. We're still putting diapers on the babies and food on the table. So we're not going to just shut down and stop operating as a country. Ultimately, what will happen is this economy will find its base and start a new trend upward here.
So we have to accept the inevitable, play it cool, and historically, the market has never gone down and stayed down.
Right. No matter who you ask, any pundit, talking head, or me or anyone else out there, it's not a matter of if the economy is coming back, it's a matter of how long it takes or how ugly it gets. And what I say to you is, fear not, this is going to maybe get a little uglier for the next couple of months. That's what tends to happen when an economy is trying to find its footing. But invariably, it will find a new base and start working up from there.
And you say we have to be proactive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're sitting out there and some people are saying, hey, I don't even open my retirement account statements anymore, I just don't want to do it. Well, there are some things you can do. It's worth taking a look at what investments are in there. And, you know, in some cases, you might own an investment where the manager has retired and they plugged in the new guy, and you just, you know, you don't want to sit around. You have to kind of check with your advisors, consider what your options are, and maybe tweak your portfolio a little bit to take advantage of what's going on out there.
And the other reality you have to take into mind here is you're standing in life. If you're closer to retirement, you've got some more pressing concerns than somebody who's in their 20s or 30s who has time to let the market heal itself and for their accounts rather to recoup.
Certainly, you know, and traditional portfolio theory says, hey, we're going to own more bonds than stocks as we approach retirement. The problem with this debacle is that bonds fell just as hard as stocks. So those people that were doing proper asset allocation did get hurt along with, you know, their younger counterparts. And that certainly doesn't feel good. Those bonds, though, are still paying their interest payments, even though the values are down. So I say hang in there and, again, evaluate the portfolio, maybe trade up in quality a little bit here while everything is down, and you'll be in better shape as things recover.
And those of us who did what we were supposed to do have to understand there's a new learning curve here, and we take that into account. And, again, that takes time. Joe, always a pleasure. Hey, if you have any questions for Joe, you can get him at, what's the new website address?
KrierWealth.com.
All right, because it used to be Krier Financial. KrierWealth.com. There you go.